Yo YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim, this is kashkellyandac Sports Report. Manny Ramirez, one of the better sluggers of the last 15 or so years, has decided to retire today. Supposedly he was facing an 100-game suspension, which would be his second suspension for testing positive for a performance enhancer. And man, this is Manny being Manny. I used to think Manny being Manny was this fun guy who was just an idiot. The Red Sox were called the idiots. I thought he was just an all-around, naturally tremendous baseball player. And I don't want to say it surprised me when I heard the first time that he did steroids, but I would have, if you put a gun to my head, I would have said, no, Manny Ramirez doesn't take steroids. I mean, that was a guess, but I didn't think he did them. And I was wrong on that, and that was stupid of me to think that Manny Ramirez didn't do steroids. But I want to get into, should this guy be in the Hall of Fame? In my opinion, hell no. People think that I just go out here and I bag on all the Yankees players for taking roids. No, I'm consistent here. Manny Ramirez was a cheater. If I look at it now, Manny Ramirez was probably one of the worst teammates in league history. Manny Ramirez consistently put himself before the team, which isn't necessarily terrible if you play well enough naturally, but he didn't. You know, and I know the stats are great. 312 career averages, tremendous. 555 home runs. I mean, he's got Hall of Fame numbers. But the bottom line is MLB is finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we've seen it the last few years. People aren't just starting up on steroids. The only people still using drugs like that are idiots like Manny Ramirez who are like aren't smart enough to go find something else that MLB can't test for. They're just, oh, I'm just going to keep taking the same thing. I don't get it. And Manny Ramirez will come up with some statement like, I didn't kill nobody, I didn't rape nobody, something like that, like he said last time. This guy is not a Hall of Famer. He was a cheater. Steroids are cheating. Don't even give me that, oh, well, you still have to hit the ball. Shut up, seriously. Willie Mays still had to hit the ball. Ted Williams still had to hit the ball. And whether Willie Mays or any of the later players were on amphetamines, that's a completely different story from steroids. Amphetamines, they get you going, pumped up, but do they add to your skill level? Not really. I mean, maybe they make you faster, but that's not what guys that were using them were taking them for. They were taking them so they had the energy. So it's basically yourself at 100% consistently, which I still believe is cheating, but I think there were too many people doing it. I think if you look at steroids, people say, well, you still have to hit the ball, steroids don't make you play. Yeah, they do. I mean, would Barry Bonds have hit 73 home runs at age 37 off steroids? I don't think so. Would Mark McGwire have hit 70 home runs a few years in a row? No. And the guy who was really made off steroids was Sammy Sosa. This guy sucked at the beginning of his career with the White Sox. He was terrible. Goes on roids, yep, I'm the best player in the league for a few years. I mean, that was ridiculous to me. He was a cheater. Canseco's acknowledged he was made by steroids, so at least he's honest. MLB is finally starting to see the end of anyone who was ever caught with steroids, the players that were in the steroid era, and the last piece for me to retire would be Alex Rodriguez, and you can bash me all you want for that one, because A-Rod's a cheater just like Manny Ramirez. David Ortiz can go too. Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz, McGuire's gone, Bonds is gone, although you can't seem to get rid of him. Clemens is gone, Pettit's now gone, and whether he used that for an injury or not, you know, you're going to get lumped into the same category. I'm just so happy this nightmare is finally ending. I mean, at the beginning of my childhood now, I just look back and think it was all fake. I mean, baseball was not real, and I'm happy. I love how it is right now. I love pitching baseball with some power, but I don't like seeing teams win 11-0 every game. Now, I went to the Phillies yesterday, they won 11-0, but that's a different story. I'm happy that the MLB is at the end of the steroid tunnel, and I hope they use this as a lesson that you shouldn't not care what people are doing. They knew people were taking steroids, and they just kind of let it go. I'm happy that they have put in this effort, and I hope to death that something like this never happens again in my life. I hope. And if it happens, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Because we are finally getting through this. These guys do not belong in the Hall of Fame. They're saying, we'll just give them their own section, put an asterisk. It taints the whole Hall of Fame experience. I mean, I went there for the first time last summer, and it was great. I mean, to see all these guys who did it naturally, who did it the right way, and not see guys like Barry Bonds. And I mean, Barry Bonds was a tremendous player off steroids. First ballot Hall of Famer, easy. But there were questions if this guy would ever reach 500 home runs, let alone 600, let alone 700, let alone all-time home run king. So for all I care, these guys can get out of baseball, and I don't want to ever hear from them again. That's the bottom line. The Tampa Bay Rays, you might lose putting 5 extra people in the seats, but no one goes to your games anyway. So I'm Tim. We got a special video coming up tonight. People always argue about bandwagon fan this, bandwagon fan that. And then the bandwagon fan goes, well, I didn't know there was a rule book. Well, me and AC tonight will put out our official, patented bandwagon fan rule book. So stay thirsty, my friends. We'll get that off for you. I'll see you later.